Let's get one thing straight before I begin. Yes, I saw the Chris Rock and Will Smith thing. Yes, I saw what everyone has said about it, and there's not many places to go with it. But there's one main thing that really annoyed me with the whole scenario.
Is you guys.
Everyone has an opinion about what should have happened and how people should have responded.
Oh, wow!
You're probably wondering, why didn't I respond immediately when it happened? And to be perfectly fair, I could have. But there's one small thing you probably left out. I didn't care. Somebody getting slapped in public, although it was funny, I don't particularly care about it because I've seen women slap men harder than that and no one bat an eye.
The point that I'm trying to make is,
it wasn't that big of a deal. As far as the slap goes.
It's Levin. Yeah. They don't speak to me unless your tone nice. Like my liquor brown unchased with no ice. Okay, maybe just a cube or two. Hennessy's the usual. Lemon squeeze around the rim, but tonight needed suitable. Gold slugs in a tailored suit. Gold nut, pinky finger. Ooh, you try to show fake love, but we ain't amused. So we show.
The initial issue that I have with the whole thing isn't necessarily what Will Smith did, but why he did it. Now we can psychoanalyze everything and really come to the conclusion of defending his wife because of something that was said from 6 years ago. Here's why I disagree. Chris wasn't just friends with Will, he was friends with the Smith family. Allegedly. And let's just use that as factual. The issue with that, if it's been 6 years and I haven't came to holler at you yet, I don't care. We squashed it secretly. Or 3, somebody has some feelings about it and we're just not gonna address it, just leave it out there. I would like to go with the third one. I didn't even know something was going on with Jada Pinkett Smith. I didn't even know about her whole hair thing. I just thought she kept it short because she looked good short hair.
You're weird!
But that's me and my ignorance. So when the whole G.I. Jane joke happened, I didn't know what to feel about it. I didn't know that it was something that was supposed to be a joke about her appearance. When I saw her face about it, that's when I knew no matter what was gonna happen next, there wasn't gonna be a good outcome.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Something that I've been struggling with. Society kind of thinks more like this. Let's say that there's someone that is your partner's friend that you don't care about at all. And as soon as you think of it, pause and hold that image. I want you to think of someone that you can't stand, but you can't necessarily explain it or express it that you can't stand, making a joke about you in front of millions of people across the world. What is your face?
Yeah, I got something to say. Screw all you guys! I hope you all eat turds and die! None of you bastards are my friends no more!
Was it similar to Jada's face? Right. Would that be enough to make you angry? You can feel a type of way about it, and yeah, you can downright dislike it or find it distasteful, anything of that nature. But there's one thing, and this is where I felt like Will's issue was. He looked at her face, he said, I have to defend my wife because she's upset. She never said she was upset.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Now you're probably like, well, of course she was upset. Look at her face.
That's the problem.
Most men look and we just respond. Because think about it. He was damned if he did and damned if he didn't when it came to that. Say that happened and he did absolutely nothing. People would have thought that he wasn't alpha male and he wasn't willing to defend his wife. He did the most extreme and now everyone's saying that he overreacted and he did the worst. While there's some people who do agree with what he did. The reasoning for everything is incorrect. Everyone would like to say that someone's at fault, but I want to break down who I truly believe who might be the sole issue in this whole thing. If you're saying that it's Chris Rock, the issue was saying that it's Chris's fault. He said, you look like a strong woman who represents a strong woman. Can't wait for your next movie. We're not going to sit here and say that the joke was good because yeah, the joke was not good.
What happened?
I'm not sitting here defending it.
But what I am saying is that he didn't say anything wrong, nor did he say anything outlandish. He made a joke about her that she made public. Because, by the way, she makes a lot of things public, including her life, the way she feels about Will.
Yeah. You expect your partner to know, especially when it comes to sex.
Right.
It's like, well, if you love me, you should know.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you love me,
You should be able to read
you
my
should
mind.
read my mind.
The lack of efficiency that he is in certain aspects. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff that we know about Will that we didn't know about Will's before.
It is not your responsibility to make your wife happy, right? Just like it's not my wife's responsibility to make me happy. It's my responsibility to make me happy, and it's her responsibility to make her happy, and then we're gonna come together and build on that happiness.
He's one of the most established black, I'm not even gonna say black actors, black men that we have existing right now. And you know what people remember him most is the things that they say on Red Table Talk.
The day after her 37th birthday, I hired a team to orchestrate her 40th birthday. I had hired a documentary team. I traced mommy's family roots. Her 40th birthday was going to be my thing.
It was going to be a splash.
It was going to be a splash. Mary J. Blige performed. I debuted the film, all of that. It was going to be the thing that lifted her out of this midlife crisis, and it was going to be my deepest, most beautiful proclamation of love. And she's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego.
Ooh.
Crushed, right?
Not for his accomplishments, not for all of the many, many successful things he's been a part of. It's been about the things he don't do well. But the reason why it's not Chris's fault is because he was doing his job. Yeah, you can say that he took it too far. I'm not here to disagree with you. But what I am saying is that he did nothing wrong in the scenario. And if you feel like that deserves for somebody to get slapped, I'm not going to be here to stop you.
I really don't care.
Moving on. The reason why, this was a tricky one. When he heard the initial joke, he didn't initially get upset visibly. And when I saw that, I honestly felt bad. But it was not because of the results of the slap. It's because, damn, this is another thing he has to hold because he thought he was doing something that was right.
Do that in this world, man. You can't do that in this world, man. Arsenio, they got rules. They got rules. Like, he has a rule. The bass player, he got a rule. He got to wax his head every morning. That's a rule. He follows the rules, man.
Think about it. He hit the right person. Chris Rock has gone on the record and said many times that he is a lover and not a fighter. He also has made a quote saying, "I'm not a fighter." Will knew that. Think of all the people who's made fun of Will Smith over the years and so many people that have actively agitated him. Well, you can't hit corporate America because, most of them are Caucasians and we know how that looks nowadays. You can't hit any of the women because, we know what that looks like nowadays. And most importantly, you can't hit your wife.
I'm in danger.
I would like to throw out the scenario that I believe that the person he went up there and secretly thought that he smacked the shit out of was his wife.
And anybody in this room that's ever been in love will testify to this shit. If you haven't contemplated murder, you ain't been in love. If you haven't seriously thought about killing a motherfucker, you ain't been in love. If you haven't bought a shovel and a bag and a rug to roll their ass up in, you ain't been in love. If you haven't practiced your alibi in front of the mirror, you ain't been in love. And the only thing that stopped you from killing this motherfucker was an episode of CSI.
Any man who has ever been broken, defeated, down bad, exhausted, tired, we all saw that face. It wasn't even a face of I was happy about what I did. It was a face of I gotta do something because everything's already against me now. And if I don't do anything, I'm gonna hear about it. So he did what he thought his partner would have wanted, which was to respond. But here's why it's not Jada's fault. She never said that she was upset.
That's the problem.
This is my internal struggle. Do I do what I instinctively would do,
Which is protect and defend?
or do I do the correct thing, which is do nothing? You see how that's a little bit of a gray area? It's no real defined direction with that. You just kind of do what you feel, and whoever likes that idea, you just kind of roll with it. All of my life, I've been guilty of over-responding or responding too aggressively. I was either too much or not enough. I was never just right. I never made the right call. You know why? Everyone gets to play the results when you don't make sure. And my problem with the whole thing, and this is the reason why it's Will's fault, she can always say, I didn't ask him to do that. I didn't ask him to defend me, which I promise you, that is the main thing we are getting. Because I didn't say it, You can't assume that that's what I meant to say. Yeah, I know I could have hinted at it, displayed actions towards it, but you know what this kind of reminds me of? Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat is an experiment that was made where there was a cat and a fragile glass of poisonous toxin placed in a box and sealed away. We can make the assumption of the results of it. We don't know if the cat died. We don't know if the cat escaped. We don't know if the cat bumped into the glass. We have no idea of knowing. And yes, all of those assumptions are right and they're wrong at the same time. It is the ultimate definition of damned if you do and damned if you don't. We absolutely had no right judging. That may have been a little too much. However, we don't know if that shit turned her on. We don't know if he got some action on the way back to the hotel or on the way back home. We don't know if that's actually what she wanted to do. The reason why we're never gonna know, we assume the outcome. As a man, I am guilty, 1000% guilty of always doing something in advance so that I don't have to hear about it later. Does that ring a bell? Doesn't those actions look like somebody who hoping to get praise, but it was incorrect because we ain't asked? We assume that it's gonna work out for the best and we just kind of keep things going. But that's the issue with the relationship. That's the issue with all these relationships. Is that most people are thinking like guys. And unfortunately, we're wrong on this one. But we're not wrong for doing the wrong thing. We're wrong for thinking that we're right. Man, that sounds terrible when you say it out loud. But it's true. You're never gonna know what the right answer is because someone can always play the results. I don't think that she's not guilty. I actually think that a lot of this is her fault. But you can't put it on her at all because at the end of the day, she's right. She didn't say anything. She didn't tell him to do it. I'll take your word for it, even if I may disagree. If you're asking me my personal opinion, we're in a society that doesn't necessarily know how to define what a man is, and someone blatantly insults her in public.
Do absolutely nothing. Look at his phone,
Pull out a piece of gum, tweet about it,
but don't respond.
just so they can go home and she could be sitting there pissed and be like, Will, why didn't you do something for me? I thought you would let me know when you need my help. He wasn't wrong for responding. He was wrong for assuming, like we all did. We assumed that this is why he went up there and slapped Chris Rock. We assumed that he did this in defense of his wife. We assumed that she was upset that she was gonna say something about it regardless. We assumed that she wished that someone else was up there with her instead of him. We assumed everything else. Why are we assuming? Because you're never gonna know. Don't worry about being useful or thinking that you're contributing to society because you got an opinion. But guess what though? When the lights are gone and the camera's off and everyone goes home, no one cares.